financial problems, elder law, criminal law, tax problems, business matters, divorce, personal injury, bankruptcy, your life, your reality. Life is complicated. There is the law and there is reality. Welcome to Law and Reality, sponsored by THAV GROSS. Now here's your host, Ken Gross.
Welcome to this segment of Law and Reality. Today's topic is, what is financial crisis management? Brian Small, good morning.
Good morning, Ken. A pleasure to be here this morning.
Jeffrey Linden, Tax Man.
Good morning, Ken. It's
Here
an
comes the
absolute
next
joy
man.
to be here this morning.
Patrick Simasco.
Good morning.
Do you feel the same way?
Being here? Yeah, I am. I'm excited. I love the patches on your coat.
Thank you. I love the whiskers.
You know,
on
I
your,
started seeing myself in the Zoom meeting, so your face pops up like that, and I go, oh, geez, I got to cover up the COVID 30 pounds that we put on somehow. So
I think you're starting to look like a baseball player.
I'm a good-looking guy, right?
There you go.
Or Santa Claus, one of the two.
Yeah, either one's work.
The Tigers
Either
are
one's
looking
good.
a lot better. Is there any
one's
of you guys
good.
following the Tigers?
Yeah,
I've actually
they've been winning.
Come back to being a baseball fan. I'm thinking of the Tigers as being close to the Pistons in 96 and 97 before they broke through and won the championship. I just think that it's like they've got like the John Saley and the Rodman, the young guys that are coming together. I'm starting to feel like we're going to have a good team because we don't have any other sports teams. There's nothing going on with everyone else. So let's talk about financial crisis management. Brian, you're smiling. So what is financial crisis management?
That's a great question. Where did you come up with that topic?
Oh, here it goes. Here it goes.
Credit and kudos to
yeah.
Brian Small. Those of you watching and listening to the show, if you enjoyed today, the author of the outline today is Brian Small.
Yeah.
My compliments to you for having taken the time to do the outline. After doing the show for 9 years, 52 weeks out of the year, you've stepped up and done the
How
outline.
long does it take to prep it? It
Me-
takes a long time.
Me, it takes about 2 hours, and I've been doing it for 9 years.
Yeah.
It took me.
Ryan, you should take in that environment, it would take 4 hours.
It did.
He knocked it out in
Good.
15 minutes.
Yeah,
That's my
right.
boy.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
does a good job.
Anyway, what is financial
learn from the
crisis
best.
management? It's actually a really good question because when you start off with what it isn't one thing. It's everything. It has to do with the analysis and understanding of your client's financial problem and finding a solution that solves their problem. And how do we do that? We use lots of different tools, not just one thing. We're not a bankruptcy law firm. We're not a tax collection defense law firm.
Oh, excuse me, I fall asleep. Oh, I'm sorry, did I fall asleep?
It's okay. I'm so glad you're with us here today, Pat.
This is a great outline, I
sorry,
gotta
I
tell you
fell asleep.
right now.
Pat's not in crisis.
In short, it's solving financial problems.
Absolutely.
Does that help, Pat?
Yeah, there you go.
So, but you were talking about tools?
Tools, yes, because not every financial problem gets solved the same way. I mean,
Example.
Sometimes you need a bankruptcy. Sometimes you need a tax professional.
Sometimes you need both.
Sometimes you need both. Sometimes you need a bankruptcy, a loan modification, and a tax professional.
Sometimes you need a winning lottery ticket.
Sometimes
but-
you need someone to knock yourself in the head to wake you up and quit spending so much.
But okay, the reality is if
Oh,
is
that
the,
and you scoffed at Brian's definition of financial crisis management.
The client-
That's a downer.
the client that walks into our office with the financial problem has already attempted to do everything by themselves. They've said, all right, I'll take money out of my 401k or my investments and throw good money after bad. I will cut my expenses. I will borrow from grandma.
Or at least they've said to themselves that's what they're trying to do. Because what Pat just said is something that you often advocate, is some people spend, like I think you like to talk about budget management. Some people spend more than they need to, and they really can't find the path not to. But no one, we don't see anyone, rare circumstance for someone to come in who has a financial problem that says, you know what, I'm a spendthrift and I like it and that's what I want to do. I want you to discharge all my debts, get me back together so I can then run up my credit cards again and be a spendthrift again, because I'm happy when I'm a spendthrift. There are people out there like that, but you know, we've been doing this 30 years. I've never really met somebody who, maybe they are that way and they don't know it, but no one thinks of themselves that
Sort
way.
of
You see what I
just
mean?
the overeating. It's like you lose a bunch of weight,
Yeah.
you get to your target weight, and you go, oh great, I can, and all of a sudden you go back to it, and you go
That-
up and down.
There's
and
an
up and
analogy
down,
there that you use with budgeting, all that we
Yeah.
call, well, perfect. You call it belt tightening.
Yeah.
And then you tighten the belt, and then you accomplish the short-term goal, and then you
Pressure's
let the belt
off,
out and
yeah.
you enjoy yourself.
I mean, the reality here is with financial crisis management, our goal is to solve the problem and create a mechanism so that the client doesn't get into that problem again.
Right.
And the first thing is figuring out what the problem is. And, you know, sometimes it's obvious. Somebody walks in with, they're making $40,000 a year and they've got $60,000 worth of credit card debt. Okay, what's the problem? They're outside of their means.
You know, I find one that's really interesting. There's a lot of people out there, and they don't come in for help, and they don't do anything, and they're really a sad problem that exists. The person that chooses through inadvertence over time to carry $50,000 to $100,000 of credit card debt, and they continue to do it, and they're paying that 20% interest, and they have enough income that they're able to service the debt. So they're not, their credit cards don't get tapped out very quickly, and there's nothing to stop them from spending and continuing it. But what are they doing? They're throwing away their financial future by paying interest forever on a lot of money. You know, 20% interest on credit cards, $20,000 a year on $100,000 of credit card debt. We'll do the math after the break, but the bottom line is that will make you poor forever. Let's take a break. We'll come back. COVID-19 presents a fight for our personal and business financial survival. You have to make choices. Cash is critical. Do you tap your retirement, home equity line, or run up the credit cards? You need the right plan to avoid being wiped out, and you need it now. You can't rely on the government or banks. Call us. We're the experts in financial crisis. We are here for you and your business in the Great Recession, and we're here for you now. We will create a plan and get through this together. THAV GROSS will solve your problem.
Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call THAV GROSS.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call THAV GROSS today, 888-235-HELP.
Will I outlive my money?
Medicaid is so confusing.
A will, or do I need a trust?
What if mom needs to go in a nursing home?
At Samasco Law, we have the answers to all of these questions. Our attorneys will eliminate the confusion and develop a plan that's right for you. We are dedicated to veterans benefits, assisted living, and nursing home care. Samasco Law can help prepare you for a long future. Call Samasco Law today.
If you're retired and in a financial crisis, there is a way out.
It pains me when I see a retired couple exhaust their savings by paying credit card bills and for a home hopelessly underwater.
THAV GROSS specializes in helping retired people in financial crisis.
You just can't keep paying until you're broke. You need to address the problem now.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
You can't work. You have to deal with pain and stress. Worse yet, our system for applying for disability benefits seeks to deny you the benefits you're entitled. Jeff Kirshner is an expert in obtaining disability and workers' compensation benefits for his clients. You need to call Jeff before you apply or after you're denied to get the benefits you deserve. 888-235-HELP. 888-235-HELP. Carrying too much debt? Resolve your debt. Call THAV GROSS.
You don't need to be broke, and you don't need to hit rock bottom. If you have income and you're struggling with debt, dump it. Think about the next 10 or 20 years. If you do what the banks tell you, you'll have nothing to retire with. There is a solution.
Don't waste your future. Call THAV GROSS. We're experts at eliminating credit card debt. 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP. Is the debt piling up? Struggling to get by?
It's all about preserving future income. Bankruptcy is one option. When it's right, it's the least costly, most effective way to save your home, eliminate a second mortgage, and wipe out credit card debt. But you need to address the problem now.
We help people with bankruptcy. Call the experts.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
So we're back.
You know, I noticed that a lot in my retirement planning is if you have a family that have big pensions and they look at that monthly income each month, they're not worried about how much is in the bank account because they know they can spend and spend because they know that check is going to be coming.
Pension?
Next
What's a
month.
pension?
Well, that's the problem.
Do those
People
exist?
don't realize that they don't have pensions anymore, and their only plan is Social Security, which will be not enough to cover the expenses when you're in retirement. So when you say they're not planning for the future, they're not, because they need to start building up their retirement account. So instead of giving it to the credit card companies at 20% interest, they should be putting in their retirement account.
And the reality
Yeah,
is
no
that
question.
people are living longer, and they're not necessarily working longer.
No, they want to retire at 50 but live to 100.
Yeah, and
What do
and
you do if you retire that young?
Well, if you got a
canasta.
pension,
You play a lot of canasta.
yeah. If you got a pension, then you're out doing your stuff, but no people have it
But the
anymore.
thing about that is that because you're living longer, if you've been throwing money away on credit card interest, unfortunately, while we're living longer, we're not necessarily living healthier. So our expenses go up as we reach our 80s and 90s because of costs of medication, health insurance not covering everything that we needed to cover. And suddenly, you're running out of money because you're outliving your retirement money.
Yeah, and then the other one is, and we always talk about the 3-point retirement plan, which is the simple way of securing your future. You got to get to the point where you own your home free and clear, zero debt, cash in the bank. If you do that, you're guaranteed a comfort zone. I can tell you, I've accomplished that goal. And my overhead is like zip now. My kids are married. I've gone through the wedding phase. I have grandkids that, sure, we spend on the grandkids. But my expenses are taxes, utilities. I don't even have a car payment, car insurance.
Hair care products?
Hair care products, yes. Only for the show.
Paint.
But it makes
Man,
life.
I'm on fire today, man.
But flip it around. When you got 2 car payments, you're paying $400 or $500 a month in credit card payments plus other card things coming in. Your overhead is so much more that if you choose to retire, you don't have enough coming from your base Social Security to cover your expense.
One
but if you
hiccup
do,
here in the hole.
if you do, it becomes easy, and then what you have in savings is a backstop in case you have an emergency or in case inflation gets out of control and is exceeding the bump that you get in Social Security and things like that.
But then the question becomes,
How to get there?
how do we get
do
there?
it.
So the first thing is all right, if you're in a financial crisis, if your debt is out of control, if you see your spending that is beyond your means, and you're thinking tomorrow will be a better day, well, now is the time to pick up the phone and come in and see us, okay? Because that money is just getting flushed down the toilet. So back to, how do we fix it, right?
What are the methods?
I'll quickly name them off, and then some of the tools, and then we'll go through them. But Chapter 7 bankruptcy, debt, which is debt elimination bankruptcy. Chapter 13 bankruptcy, restructuring. Debt resolution, settling your debts for pennies on the dollar. tax collection defense work, settling with the IRS or putting yourself on a payment plan with the IRS. So they're not seizing your
Is that for
your
pennies
money.
on the dollar too?
It
It
can
can
be,
be.
right?
Okay.
And budget management, which has a lot to do with coffee.
What else can you get for pennies on the
Is this
dollar?
a good
I'm
time?
interested in that.
Is this a good time with COVID that a lot of the entities that you're dealing with are more easily negotiated with because of COVID? Is it like
It doesn't matter, because we negotiate hard and we get a great result
Yeah.
for our clients, period. It doesn't make a difference.
doesn't?
There was that sentiment early on in COVID, and now I think that's passed. We're in a little bit of a strange environment now. Mentally, everybody wants to be beyond COVID, so we have seen creditors become more aggressive on collection, and IRS is getting more aggressive and everything else. Now that we move into this variant stage and we're having trouble getting the vaccinations where we want, and we're a little bit kind of floundering on being sure that the economy can be free rolling again, there's going to be a little bit of step back. But for the most part, and also in commercial litigation, I have seen that expand rapidly in the last 2 months, where lenders that were giving grace to restaurants and so forth, they're all bearing down on them now. So it's kind of, I think now they were a little bit easier, and now they're actually more aggressive.
Oh, completely more aggressive. But at the same
And also
time,
the lenders that are not subject to mortgage forbearance, I can think of a couple words that start with F and P and son of a bitches, that they're acting obnoxious as can be. You know, you want a modification? Sorry, you don't qualify. Pay us all the money you want now, or we're going to foreclose. Now they haven't pulled the trigger to foreclose, but they're going to probably in the next 2 months.
and
so it's tough.
There's two huge things that are happening right there. So you've got all these people that are behind in their homes that are in their forbearance and they think that the magic solution will be that the mortgage company will just wave a magic wand and put it at the end, which isn't happening. And remember all those people in 2009 and 10 that had second mortgages that walked away from their homes, and they said, and they haven't heard word one from those mortgage companies? Guess what? There are all sorts of lawsuits coming down right now from all those mortgage companies that sat on those second mortgages, and they are suing left and right.
Really?
Yeah,
they're
because
still
They
around.
have to pursue their claim within 10
10
years.
years.
Yeah.
So literally, I've seen
those
a
You
know what
half
they
a dozen
did?
of those in the last 3 weeks.
Really?
All those loans were sold off for, there we go,
Pennies
for
on
pennies
the
on the
dollar.
dollar. And now the guy comes in and he's got a $90,000 second mortgage with interest is now $140,000 second mortgage.
And the equity's
and
through the roof
and he
now.
probably paid $2,000 for it.
That's
Yeah.
right. The equity is through the roof. The people kept their house thinking they never have to pay their second mortgage again. And now there's too much equity in the house,
All right,
and it's subject to being lost.
Let's take a break. When we come back, I want you to tell me, what do we do for that person?
Carrying too much debt? Resolve your debt. Call THAV GROSS.
You don't need to be broke, and you don't need to hit rock bottom. If you have income and you're struggling with debt, dump it. Think about the next 10 or 20 years. If you do what the banks tell you, you'll have nothing to retire with. There is a solution.
Don't waste your future. Call THAV GROSS. We're experts at eliminating credit card debt. 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP. Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
We're THAV Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call THAV GROSS.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call THAV GROSS today, 888-235-HELP.
I love you too. Bye-bye. That was Jerry. Emma just said her first word.
Oh.
Jerry says hello and they'll be over soon.
Who's Jerry? Is he a friend of yours?
No. This Jerry. Our Jerry. And this is his wife and their little girl.
Time for announcements. Want to remind our viewers to listen to us for Law and Reality Live on the Praise Network, Tuesdays 10 o'clock a.m. and Saturdays 7 o'clock a.m. and on KISS 105.9, Sundays 7 o'clock in the morning. Remember, you can always come in the office for a free consultation. You can also do them via teleconference or phone conference. Just call our offices, 248-645-1700, and schedule a free seminar. You can also call our 888 number, 235-HELP. Also, if you ever want to schedule a consultation online, just go and you can check the boxes. Areas covered: debt issues, tax issues, estate planning issues, business issues, elder law issues with Pat, disability issues with Jeff Kirshner. All you've got to do is go online to schedule a conference or call us, which is the old-fashioned and the easy way, 888-235-HELP. Also, take a look at the website. There's free reports: Resolving Tax Problems, The Real Solutions by myself and Jeff Linden, Bankruptcy, Is It Right for Me by Brian Small, that's our newest report, How to Save Your Home from Foreclosure, Business Formation Loans and Grants for Small Businesses in Detroit and Michigan, and by Pat Simasko, The Retiree's Guide from Social Security. I want to thank our sponsors, THAV GROSS, Simasko Law, Kirshner Law. Now back to the show.
Is the debt piling up? Struggling to get by?
It's all about preserving future income. Bankruptcy is one option. When it's right, it's the least costly, most effective way to save your home, eliminate a second mortgage, and wipe out credit card debt. But you need to address the problem now.
We help people with bankruptcy. Call the experts.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP. You can't work. You have to deal with pain and stress. Worse yet, our system for applying for disability benefits seeks to deny you the benefits you're entitled. Jeff Kirshner is an expert in obtaining disability and workers' compensation benefits for his clients. You need to call Jeff before you apply or after you're denied to get the benefits you deserve. 888-235-HELP. 888-235-HELP. If you're retired and in a financial crisis, there is a way out.
It pains me when I see a retired couple exhaust their savings by paying credit card bills and for a home hopelessly underwater.
THAV GROSS specializes in helping retired people in financial crisis.
You just can't keep paying until you're broke. You need to address the problem now.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem. COVID-19 presents a fight for our personal and business financial survival. You have to make choices. Cash is critical. Do you tap your retirement, home equity line, or run up the credit cards? You need the right plan to avoid being wiped out, and you need it now. You can't rely on the government or banks. Call us. We're the experts in financial crisis. We were here for you and your business in the Great Recession, and we're here for you now. We'll create a plan and get through this together. THAV GROSS will solve your problem. So, Brian, so what do we do for that situation? Second mortgage, they're coming after him now, and he's got equity in the house.
Negotiate.
Let me give you an example. We have a true life story. $3,600 a month is the client's mortgage payment. Big house, big mortgage, a lot of equity in it now, though. He stopped paying for a year ago.
He got a forbearance, right?
He got a forbearance for legitimate reason. His particular industry was completely shut down. He couldn't work. He's also elderly, had some health problems, so he hasn't been able to return to work. He goes and he says, you know, they send him a letter. Congratulations, you've been approved for your reinstatement plan. Pay us the arrearage in 12 months. So now he's got to pay $6,300.
Now remember, he hasn't been working at all for a year and has no foreseeable ability to go back to work at the same time. And they want his mortgage payment
$200 a month.
And for a year they want a double mortgage payment. If he could have afforded that in the first place, he would have paid his mortgage payment. So where's the magic money coming from? So what you look at that and say, obviously that's not going to happen. So his option, if he wants to keep his house, is significantly different than if he's willing to sell his house. Significant equity, he could sell it. But if you don't have significant equity or you don't want to sell it, that's how do you keep it?
Let me layer on the problem. That was his first mortgage I told you about. He also had a second mortgage, just like the example you said, that he hadn't made a payment on in 9 years from the financial crisis. Sitting dormant, thought thought in his mind that that was gone, but it shows up on the title work. $90,000 was the balance on the mortgage 9 years ago. I ran a quick chart. I said to him, you owe $170,000 on this mortgage if they charge you interest. And we were selling the house because he wants to retire and take the equity. But if he loses $170,000,
he's got no equity.
He's dead. So what do? We called up the second lender, still pretending like, not saying we're selling the house or anything else, just saying we're trying to clean up old things on him. First, I wanted to find out what the balance is. First good news is they said the balance is 90, which means they weren't looking for interest. We settled it at a 25, I think a 30% discount for cash, which is not a discount like back in the, if he had no equity in the house, back in the financial crisis, we'd settle it for 10 cents on the dollar, for pennies on the dollar.
Which doesn't happen anymore. Yeah. Those 10-cent deals are not out there. Few and far between. The average still is about 35 to 40%.
If you've got, and talking to that lender, they're on the phone with me, and she's pulling up a screen. She's saying, well, it looks to us that the fair market value of the house is X. Well, X that she said to me was $200,000 short of the real one. Really? And she says to me, I think I can get this approved, but if they go and they find out the house is worth more, they're not going to accept that because they look at the amount of equity. So we went back and said, let's just try and set this up. Let's make the offer on the 25th of the month because they always want to try and close out deals by the end. So we timed it. We threw out the money. We threw out the offer on the 25th. They came back and said, we'll take this, but it has to close by the end of the month. I said, end of the month? Are you crazy? But we closed by the end of the month, knowing that that was the game plan so that they wouldn't look at the value.
So, but the question
is... we didn't save them. We didn't get the 10 cents on the dollar, so it wasn't like that much fun.
Yeah, but what do you do with the mortgage arrears that still exists on the first, right? Because they want it in a year. So in this case, a Chapter 13 bankruptcy would be the appropriate solution. It gives the individual 5 years to catch up. And that's 5 years to catch up on your past due mortgage payments, 5 years to catch up on the past due property taxes. At the same time, we can take advantage of that Chapter 13 and reduce the car payment and restructure everything.
So in that case, the 13 is his protection.
Yeah, but look what we did.
Get the lender to work.
We use multiple tools of financial crisis management here to get the client result. We negotiated a settlement with the mortgage company. Then we did the Chapter 13.
You can't end the show putting Pat to sleep. I see him starting to fade.
I
don't want that to happen.
Well, I want to throw it on a different light. If you don't do what you're doing now, you just set it on the other people. All these old debts are popping up from years ago at triple the amount, and they're going to go after them.
You need a plan. That's what you need to do, and that's what financial crisis management is all about. Have a great week. We'll be back next week with Law and Reality.